Joining me now is Fox Nation host Tyrus, Fox News contributor Kat Timpf, and former Conservative MP Louise Mensch, a veritable super PAC if ever I saw one. Immigration. Let's start with you, Tyrus, because whether you're in the UK, and it's a constant debate now on two levels. One, the illegal numbers coming in on small boats across the channel to try and get into Britain that way, and then surging numbers of legal migrants coming with all their dependent family numbers, rocketing to record levels too. And then you have here this extraordinary situation on the southern border, which seems to be completely out of control.
It's a migration.
And no one's doing anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So migration and immigration, legal and legal, could end up being a tipping point. We saw from the Iowa caucus what people were saying, that immigration is their key concern. It could be the thing that decides both the US and UK election, which may be happening in the same month.
You know, when I, just to the Iowa thing real quick, when I saw that that was the number one concern, concerns me, because is that the talking point concern, because the good people of Iowa don't have much to worry about in terms of immigration, especially this time of year. Pretty safe. Like the winters, I went to school in Nebraska. It only got colder if you went to Iowa. But we've got 3 million court dates, I think, that are backlogged for 10 years. So even the people who are doing it right can't do it right because of just, it's a migration of just basically, it looks like countries are just emptying their prisons. They're emptying, anybody who doesn't want to be here, go. The gates have been open. There's been some secret handshake signal that we weren't aware about in America. So the big concern is that you're hearing it where you would think the argument would be something else in Iowa. So I'm concerned it's becoming a Republican talking point opposed to the states that are really being affected. Now, if we poll New York and immigration is number one, then the Republicans might have something to get excited about. But we're just not seeing it in the places where we should be seeing it in America.
Kat, how much is this going to help Trump? I mean, clearly he had a massive victory in Iowa. Immigration was the number one thing. He always talks tough on immigration. He didn't build his wall last time, but the message was clear. If he gets the chance, he will finish the job. How much does all this help him?
Well, I think it depends on how much Trump is willing to help himself in terms of actually staying on message, because Democrats, obviously, they want this election to be about Trump, and Trump is bad, and January 6th and all these other things. All too often, I think what Trump does is he likes to get in the ring with those people and sort of fight with them, and he will not focus so much on issues like immigration or like the economy. And immigration in general, I mean, the same system we've had in place since the 90s. We are not built for this level of influx of people. But I think that each political side, they feel very comfortable arguing about it, and it's a winning issue, right? I think that Republicans say, look at this is out of control. And the Democrats can say, oh, Republicans are heartless. And they just fight with each other, fight with each other, and fight with each other. Nothing gets solved because for their political careers, it doesn't really benefit them to solve it. But when that issue doesn't get solved, all the rest of us lose.
You see, and also the debate back in the UK, Louise, anyone in the last few years who's dared to raise concerns about rising immigration has immediately been branded a racist. And you see the same thing over here, when in fact most people I know in the UK have a genuine, legitimate concern. And it's on two levels, really. It's one, whether the huge volumes of legal migrants that we're taking in, many of whom doing important jobs, but bringing with them, because of government policy, a lot of family members, are putting massive strain on an already over-creaking infrastructure, not least the National Health Service, education and so on, which I think is a perfectly legitimate concern, notwithstanding we need good skilled workers to come in. But then you have the issue of the small boats, much smaller numbers, but the optics of people just rocking up in these dinghies, not to mention the danger and the fact these horrible criminal gangs are running it, is really resonating with people. They want this to stop. Sunak, to his credit, has actually stopped it by a third with the Albania deal, where it turned out they're all young migrants from Albania, men wanting to make a few quid. So he's been successful there. Why Rwanda? I just don't know why he doesn't just get rid of this stupid plan.
Well, I think if you want to deport people, if you want to sort of disincentivise those criminal gangs who are trafficking in human misery and causing people to drown and they don't give a damn about them, you've got to make it not fruitful. You've got to take away the prize at the end of it. It's really Pavlovian, if you like. If you come over here, you will be immediately deported to Rwanda and we will process your claim over there. This is what the Republicans, by the way, also want on the southern border. They don't want to pass Ukraine funding unless Biden gets rid of parole, which is exactly the same thing. It's where you cross the border illegally and then you can apply for asylum inside the United States. The Republicans want that to go away. And really, as you say, this is more of an emotional issue than anything else, and politicians need to understand that. The immigration crisis in the UK is not from the small boats. That is a tiny fraction of the immigration numbers. It is from legal immigration. I wish the rebels who have now given up in tonight's, most of them have given up in tonight's vote, had just got their
Vote's
act
not
together.
happening, I think, for another
Yeah, it's not
probably an hour and a half or so.
Yet,
but it looks all the
Right.
signs are that Rishi Sunak will prevail.
Yeah, exactly. If they wanted to really do something about immigration, they should be tackling legal immigration and where our rules, our laws are at, how many people you can bring in, etc. Because that's where the real numbers are coming from.
Yeah, it is, yeah. OK.